Alright, this is Persuasive Speech for Com 170. The title is Getting Back to What We Lost in the 20th Century, the American Railway. This is my audience. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jaden.
Just in a row.
Hi, I'm Quinn.
Aries.
Max. Declan. Lyric.
And they're my audience. And they're all over the age of 12. Here, you can film. Alright. Thank you. Have you ever ridden a train? Chances are, if you're from the United States, you have not. While there's little definitive data, just what percentage of people have never rode a train in this country, Amtrak reported in 2024 about 32 million passenger trips. Even if each trip was a unique person, which of course they were not, that's less than 10% of the United States population. Most Americans haven't experienced rail travel at all. Most of you probably won't be surprised to hear that not too long ago, about 80 years ago, trains accounted for a much higher share of the domestic travel market. As you'll see soon, our train network was once incredibly expansive. So what gives? Where did the rails go and why? And should we bring them back? Well, I take the position that we should rebuild and revitalize our once great American railroad and to make it the envy of the world. But, to begin, where did the trains go? The Amtrak network today versus 1901, as seen here. The Amtrak network today on the left, and the 1901 American Railway network on the right. As you can see, in 1901, these were much more expansive. There were routes between different cities and right next to each other, and you could get just about anywhere in the country from just about anywhere in the country. Today, the difference is stark. You cannot access the railway unless you are on the very specific routes that it can take you. Traveling, when the railway is more expensive, was cheap and convenient, and it connected even rural areas of the country. Today, the network is so sparse that there's seldom a way to get to where you want to go conveniently from a train. So ask yourself, if you moved about 3-4 hours away from home, would you return very often? It's a long drive to make. You have to be cramped in a box and you can't stand up and move without losing progress on your journey and adding time. Imagine, though, that there's a moderately high-speed train that connects the two places in about half the time. Would you travel there more often? You can stand up, move around, use the restroom, get a snack, and maybe you would. Maybe you wouldn't, though. What's the point of building more trains, anyway? Imagine traveling from Kirksville, Missouri to Omaha, Nebraska. It's about a 4.5-hour drive. If the only train route takes over 12 hours and first detours east all the way into Illinois, to Galesburg, if a direct high-speed line existed, the journey could match driving time at least, and with added comfort. Consider even longer journeys, such as a multi-day road trip across the continent. Planes are expensive and no one wants to drive that far, and a train in theory would be the perfect vehicle for this case. But a minority of transcontinental journeys even lie upon a railway network. So let us imagine how the interconnectedness of a robust network would benefit intercity commerce. We could look at China as a rough model. China possesses the most advanced high-speed rail network in the world, in a similar geographic area to the United States. And their railway network today is perhaps more expansive than our railway network was in 1901. Chinese high-speed rail network spans a similarly sized country and enables affordable, fast travel. While expansion is costly, the core system turns a notable profit and spreads economic opportunity across regions. The benefits from the Chinese network is not just the profits, though. The main goal of the passenger rail is not to make money, but of course it is to provide a service to its citizens. China benefits massively from the ability of citizens to quickly and affordably travel between economic centers, and workers can commute much further on the regular by high-speed rail, spreading the job market even into distant rural areas far away from cities. So let us construct a scenario where the United States fully commits to building a high-speed passenger rail network. Immediately the job market would surge, as workers would be needed to construct the network, generating millions of jobs, but not just in the construction sector, in the logistics sector. We would need engineers, we would need service people to operate the trains. And a side note, a side benefit, is that car usage and ownership would probably be reduced. Even if it's only slightly reduced, fewer drivers means fewer cars on the roads to crash into pedestrians or one another. And this also reduces traffic buildup linearly. More cars are less efficient and release more smog than trains do per passenger. And this is all to say nothing of how all of these things basically apply the same way to planes. So how can we do this in the United States? First, to begin the process of building a network, I would have a radical proposition. We must allocate a significant portion of funds from the federal budget, of course. To pay for it, I would suggest, controversially perhaps, raising taxes on top earners and corporations and reducing the military budget. That's neither here nor there. There are a myriad of different ways we can find the funds for such a project. But after the funds have been found, the companies and the government contracts to build the network would needed to be coordinated at the national level to construct the lines. As part of this, a massive hiring surge would take place, and there are millions of Americans in need of jobs, and this would be a welcome prospect for them. This begins the actual construction, which would occur in stages. We would begin with factories for trains and track being built, followed by the laying down of those lines, and then connecting stations to one another. And as stations are built and connected, there's a cascade reaction as transporting materials to and from construction sites becomes easier, and the railway network will accelerate its own expansion just by its nature. So, there you have it. It may seem far-fetched to some of you or even unnecessary, but other nations besides just China have proven how much of a boon robust railway routes can be to a country's economic and population. If you weren't aware, now you know that once upon a time, the U.S. led the world in railways. What's more, you can now hopefully see that having modern railways allows for more pleasant, sustainable, and economically stimulating travel. If we did as I proposed, this country would experience an industrial and economic boost. As I said before, even those who wouldn't be riding the train would experience less drivers on the road, less smog in the air, and fewer seats taken up on planes. So, what are we waiting for? The only thing stopping us is a lack of public attention to the matter. If we are going to get any large infrastructure projects, railways or otherwise, we have to show our representatives and leaders that we want it. And for this issue, public support is clear. According to Amtrak's polling, 86% of Americans believe in the importance of a strong American passenger rail system. So we must make sure that they hear our support. Other countries show how powerful trains can be. Even if you never ride one, you benefit. Cleaner air, less traffic, and cheaper flights. 86% of Americans support passenger rail, so speak up, share, write, and organize. And if we build support, we can build the rails. Thank you. Please show the audience again.
I've been persuaded.
Thank you.